Hey, one more thing before you go. Cerebral palsy is a group of neurological disorders that affect a person's ability to move, posture, and balance. It can also affect communication, eating, sleeping, and learning. CP is caused by damage or abnormal development in the parts of the brain that control movement. This can happen before, during, or shortly after birth, or in the first few years of life. In many cases, the exact cause is unknown. According to the Mayo Clinic, it is a rare disease with fewer than 200,000 U.S. cases per year. In this episode, I'm going to have a conversation with an individual with cerebral palsy who has defied the odds in many different ways. Stay tuned. He's going to inspire, motivate, and educate you, whether you or your loved ones are on this journey or you know someone who is. I'm your host, Michael Hurst. Welcome to One More Thing Before You Go. My guest in this episode is Nick Yerhart. He's a remarkable entrepreneur, abilities life coach, and he's an author whose unwavering dedication is reshaping the narrative around individuals with special needs, or as Nick Levinly calls them, individuals with special abilities. Nick's extraordinary journey is not defined by his diagnosis of cerebral palsy, but rather it's marked by his relentless mission to empower billions. I love the billions part, Nick, of people to enhance their quality of life, embrace self-love, and unlock their true potential. There was advocacy and expertise. Nick is a beacon of inspiration, leading the charge in creating a more inclusive and compassionate world for all. Welcome to the show, Nick.
Hi, Michael. Thank you for having me, and it's great to finally meet you.
It's great to meet you as well. What an amazing individual you are, and what a remarkable journey that you've been on. You know, a lot of us are not familiar with the directness of cerebral palsy. We're familiar with it. I'm familiar with it, and my family's familiar with it from a show called Speechless.
Mhm.
If you remember that show, and it kind of gave us an introduction to the world of cerebral palsy, and that life can still function. There's just some adaptations to come through, and I love some of your motto. I've heard you in other podcasts and other shows, and I live by this motto as well. We learn to adapt and overcome,
Mhm.
and that's what you have
Yeah.
done specifically. So yes, yeah, amazing journey. I like to start at that journey in the beginning. So can I kind of unfold your life a little bit at a time?
Oh yeah. Go ahead.
Cool. Where'd you grow up?
Austin, Minnesota.
Austin, Minnesota. Oh, I didn't know they had an Austin, Minnesota. When you say Austin, most people think of Austin, Texas.
Yep, exactly. I hear it all the time.
Yeah, yeah. What was your family like?
Good. My mom was a single mother for the first 5 years of my life. Uh, my dad walked out, but then when I was 5 years old, my mom got with the person who I ended up, referring to as dad my whole life, and I have to thank him for who I am today.
It's. I had a stepfather myself, and he and I just like yours, and really, really, put into place the idea that you don't have to be blood to be family.
No.
And I called Burl my father. In fact, my stepfather was my father longer than my father was my father.
Yep.
Yeah,
Same here.
which is great. I think that what a compassionate human being, what an understanding and compassionate human being. So I'm
Hmm.
glad that you had that opportunity with him. We'll talk a little bit about him in a little while. Um,
Hmm.
do you have any brothers sisters?
I have one younger sister.
One younger sister. And
Yep.
at what point in your life did you? I mean, let's start with your story. I know that you were born with cerebral palsy, or did that show up sometime later? You had some difficulty. Your mother had difficulties during the birth, and so forth. Can we
Yep.
talk about that?
Yeah. So when I was born, I was actually born, you know, dead. I didn't have a pulse. I didn't. I wasn't breathing. Nothing. and thankfully they revived me, obviously. But you know, so that was the complication at birth. Now they didn't know that anything happened, to me at the time. It wasn't until almost a year later when my mom started to notice that I wasn't developing like I should, and then that's when I got diagnosed with cerebral palsy.
I mentioned a little bit about earlier about what palsy is.
Yeah.
In regard to that, obviously that is a life changing from no matter what age you're diagnosed with that. That's a life changing event.
Hmm.
I'm sure that it was difficult for you in growing up with it at that age, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, yeah. Like when you're a kid, you don't really understand. So like all I could see was my friends doing things that I couldn't. So, but me, I'm always one to try something at least once. So I end up getting hurt a lot because I try to follow my friends and do something that I shouldn't have. But a lot of the things that I did get hurt doing, I ended up figuring out my own way of doing it. So,
At an early age too. I think learning how to adapt and overcome at an early age obviously benefited you later in life,
but
all the way through. Did you go to public school? Did you go to private school? Were you homeschooled?
I went to public schooling. I went through the mainstream classes, so I wasn't in special ed. I was just in mainstream. I did have an aide that would help me. She would write for me, and just anything that I needed help with. You know, she was always there. So
That
yeah.
did that create, and obviously, did that create any kind of issues within the school, a public school environment, other than needing an aid? Uh, how was that accepted within your community?
It I wasn't really accepted. My mom and my dad had to fight a lot with the school system
Really?
because the school system just wants the easy way out for them, which means put me in
Mm,
a special ed class, and then I can just sit there all day and not really do anything. That's kind of how I look at it. I feel like the special ed classes could do a lot more teaching
right.
rather than just acting like a daycare.
I agree with you. Do you think that
So
is a,
yeah,
that's a
I did try the special ed classes. I did. I
uh,
was in them for a short period of time here and there, and yeah, it wasn't for me because I was at school. I wanted to learn.
you know,
So yeah.
I think it's a popular misconception. I think that putting somebody within the special needs that actually wants to excel and wants to learn and excel within their lives.
Hmm.
I personally, from what my observations are and some of the conversations that I've had, I think it's a nationwide problem. It's all
Yeah.
across the United States, and I mean, I don't know outside of the United States, but definitely within the United States, and learning
Hmm.
with my own disabilities that I have developed and have dealt with in the last 20, nothing like you, but in the last 20, 25 years that, I've had to understand the perception of having to, when I was in a wheelchair and when I couldn't, there were places I couldn't go because they didn't have the
Hmm.
opportunity for me to, unless my daughters or my wife or somebody had to pick the chair up literally, to
Hmm.
put me on the curb or, things like this. And it was frustrating. I think that society doesn't provide more in-depth opportunities for individuals with challenges.
Hmm.
I'm like you. I don't like to call it a disability because I think that we all have the ability to overcome and adapt. It may be in a very unique way, like you have done, and like I have done at times, but it should be available to those of us that have those kind of things. For us to make the choice, I think we should have the choice in deciding whether or not we want to sit here and do nothing or excel over here.
Yeah.
Did you want to go to college? Did you go to college?
So at one point I wanted to, and then I ended up not going just because the life choices, like for as far as where I wanted to be in life, I don't need college. So I was told, okay, here's the thing. So during high school, I worked for my parents. We had our own garbage company, and that's where I worked. So at that time, I thought, okay, I'm just gonna work here, and then eventually take over the company. Therefore, I don't really need college. Well, we ended up selling the company, which we'll get to that story in a little bit. But after that, I got on this journey of self improvement and helping others. And what I realized is anything that I want to learn, I can learn outside of college. So that's what I'm doing now. I'm finding mentors and coaches and a lot of books and podcasts that teach me anything that I need. That's just why I don't see a reason for me to go to college.
Well, and I can respect that. I think that life experiences and living life gives us the experience that we need to understand how we fit in with life. And our life experience is much more valuable in most cases, in more so than an academic education. Although education is valuable,
Okay.
but not for everybody's circumstance. I watched some videos of you, which very impressed. I watched some videos of you driving a trash truck, driving a garbage truck, and
Yep.
picking up cans and things, and then how you adapted and overcome. You can't see my hand moving around here, but I'm pointing like that's the Italian in me is talking over here.
Yeah,
Nobody can
I
see
do it too.
the Italian
I
talk.
move my hands all the time.
But yeah, it was amazing. In fact, I think everybody should go on YouTube, and you've got a YouTube channel which we'll talk about here in a little bit. But I think
Yep.
go on YouTube and kind of check out some of the accomplishments that you have done and some adaptations that you've done. And nobody would ever think that somebody with cerebral palsy could operate a garbage truck and
Oh yeah.
go around and pick up trash. Was that your company, your family's business? Was your garbage company?
Yep. Yep. That was our company. The video that you're talking about, I recorded that about a year ago at the company I went to after we sold ours,
After you sold it?
and then now I'm actually at a different one, but that's a long story.
Well, is in regard to helping others understand what you go through in life? I know
Hmm.
that uh, because of your challenges, is it difficult? I mean, I'm very happy that those people, the other company, has given you an opportunity because not that doesn't always happen in cases.
Yep.
Um, was it a difficult transition to go from one that your family had owned into a different company?
Yeah, after we sold ours, I took it was about almost 3 months off. I was just like, I'm just gonna take some time. There was other reasons that I needed time. We'll get to that, but
Yeah.
I just took some time off, and then the company that bought ours, I kept having my old customers reach out and complain that this customer service wasn't the same.
Right.
I don't want to dog on the company. I get along with them, but so I started to send those customers to somebody who I had met through the sale of our company because he was interested in buying ours, and he just started his own waste removal. So I started sending everyone to him. Well, then he got really busy, and I knew that because I see him out working all the time. So I actually reached out to him. I said, "Hey, I'm not working. If you need help with anything, let me know." Well, I pretty much got hired on the spot, and it was awesome because I was able to really show them, my skill set in the industry. And in 3 years, I took the company from 200 customers up to 1,600.
That's
So
that's
I'm
amazing.
pretty, yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's outstanding.
About, I loved it there, and yeah, I still talk to them to this day, even though that I don't work there anymore.
It is a sometimes life puts us in an area that we didn't think that we needed to be in, but it presents itself and allows us to be able to step into, which includes different jobs. I thought I was going to be a cop for the rest of my life, and circumstances put me out of that, and I had to reinvent my purpose and had to relearn, as you have heard, through my podcast. I had to redefine what my purpose was in life and
Mhm.
how I fit within society and within my arena in regard to that. And I think that everybody has that opportunity to kind of if they feel that they're stuck or if they feel that they aren't making forward momentum or positive movement, we all have that opportunity to take those kind of steps. And is that's kind of when you started offering your coaching service, which we'll get into in a little bit, is that what kind of inspired you to get to help other people to kind of say, hey, I've done this, you can do this.
Yeah, so basically, how I started this journey was the company I was just talking about. I They decided that they wanted to get rid of the residential garbage side, so they decided to sell. Well, the the company that I bought it didn't want it unless I went with it because I knew everything. I knew how it worked and I knew the routes. So I kind of got sold
That's
to the new company. So, and it was an okay thing, but soon after I started working there, I just realized that it wasn't quite the same. I don't want to talk down on them. They treat me good. It's just not the same atmosphere and not the same potential for growth that I had before. So that was my like big eye opener, and that's when I was like, all right, what can I do to provide for myself? Number one, and what can I do to help other people? Because I've been helping people, my whole life. In the garbage industry, if you don't pick up garbage, it's not going to be good in a couple of weeks. So, and I was always really good with customers. I was very shy and self conscious, so I didn't go out of my way to talk to anybody like I do not now. Nowadays I'll just walk up to anybody and just have a conversation. But that was me before. But so I started to think, and I was like, all right, what can I do? And one of the coaches that I hired actually, recommended, Nick, why don't you be a coach yourself? Your story is incredible, and you can really help a ton of people, and you can connect with people on a whole different level than anybody else. So then I sat and thought about it, and I was like, yep, that sounds good. So then I just started, thinking like, okay, what number one can I help with? Which I've I've figured out I can help with a lot. But what do I want to help with? Well, that would be confidence and mindset, and specifically for parents who have children with special needs, or as I like to say, special abilities, because I know from the way I grew up is that it's all up to the parent to be able to show their children and push their children to figure out what they can do, so then they have the best opportunity to live the highest quality of life possible for them. So that's the
And
path that I'm on.
that's a wonderful path that you're on. I think that giving people, especially confidence. I mean, you yourself, in your journey, I mean, you were told by doctors that you would never walk. Is that correct?
Mhm. Yep.
And obviously, on your videos, I've seen you walk. It is you're not running, but I'm not
No.
running.
Yep.
I understand all that, right? I just walk
Yep.
really. I walk as fast as I can, and there we go. We can already keep up, right? So
Exactly.
you had to learn to even though the doctor said that you would never walk, you have a unique perspective on learning how to walk again. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah. So when I was at, 4 years old, my dad, well, my stepdad, he was just coming into my life. He had been in my life my whole life because him and my mom were friends, but really started coming around when I was around age 4. So, anyways, he asked me. He said, "Do you want to learn how to walk on your own?" And of course, I said yes. So from that day forward, him and my mom would work with me almost every day. They would hold my hands so I could hold on to them and just kind of walk around. And we did that, and we did some other exercises also to get some strength in my legs. But around the age of 5, I was able to walk on my own. And I can't say I've been walking ever since, but I had to relearn how to walk again when I was, ooh, I think, 8 years old.
Yeah, and still amazing accomplishments, and I mean, kudos to your father and to your mother
Hmm.
both, because I know that that's a difficult journey for parents when they're challenged with helping their child in regard to understanding number one why and what and how, and providing answers to the why, what, and how. I think it helps ease the journey for anybody that's going on any journey, whether it be cerebral palsy or any other affliction that your child is going through in regard to some challenges that they have to adapt and overcome in any form. So thank you for that. Obviously, I think that you're an amazing individual to be able to share that journey with them, to show them there is hope from that. So, if you can help us understand a little bit more about cerebral palsy, I know that I kind of give a book textbook description of it
Yeah.
when we first introduced the show, but you said that you had to kind of relearn to walk. So, does this disease progress exponentially, or is it something that can it be cured? Is there something that can be done for it? Are you on any kind of medication? I know there's like a slew of questions I just threw at you.
You're good. So it depends on the case that you have as far as if it gets worse or not. Um, I would say mine, like, it got worse when I was a kid. Like, the older I got, you know, when you start growing, things change and you can't really adapt like you used to. But I would say up until about, I don't know, 13, 14 years old, it kind of got worse. But then now I feel like it's actually getting better. It's either getting better or I'm just really learning how to deal with it. I don't really know. But I say I had to relearn how to walk because when I want to say I was 8 years old, I had surgery on both my femur bones and my right ankle. So what they did was they actually cut my bones and twist them so they're more straight because they were really crooked. So they did that, and when you have to cut your leg femur bone, that's like the biggest bone in your body. So it takes a while to heal, and then once it does heal, your legs are weak and you don't remember how to walk because it's been so long. So then, I had to learn how to walk once again.
Once again, but you're here and you did it. Um,
Yeah,
is the with the bones? Is that something typical of cerebral palsy?
yeah, it's a common surgery, and they did say that I would have to have it again, which I believe I do because I can tell. I just don't know when I would do that because it involves you being laid up for 3 to 6 months.
For a while, yeah,
Well,
it takes a bit to heal and recover, and
I, I have too much stuff going on to do that.
that's
So,
a double edged sword, right? And it's
yeah, exactly.
grateful for the grateful I'm still doing stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Just wish yeah we just it didn't all come at once.
Hmm.
Yeah, been there, done that. It is in physical therapy and so forth takes a lot of time, and
Hmm.
whether you're going through that or I've had a hip replaced, two knees replaced, an ankle, the foot surgery, and two shoulders done, and so I have been well versed in the art of physical therapy.
Oh
Or
yeah.
yeah, which people I liked and which people I'm going. I'm not going back there because you're mean.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, we're not coming to see you again. Bye. Uh, so yeah, it's do you have currently? Do you have if any of these questions? To be honest with you, if there's any of these questions that are uncomfortable with you, we don't have to answer them or keep them in the show. That's the art of digital media. So
I know, right?
yeah, if there's something there that it doesn't resonate or you don't want to answer, that doesn't just let me know.
Okay.
Do do you have an aide now that you have to rely on that comes in and helps you? Are you self sufficient completely? Do you
No, I completely self sufficient. I live on my own. I bought my house 9 years ago, and yeah, I live completely alone. Um, I do have a friend that comes and stays for a few days here and there, and he kind of helped me get caught up on things around the house that you gotta fix or repair, or cooking. He likes to cook for me because it's not that I can't cook a lot of meals, but a lot of things are more dangerous for me to
yeah.
cook, so I prefer not to.
Well,
So yeah,
if he's a really good cook and he does all the house stuff, could you lend him
I know, right?
to us down here?
I'll send them over.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's cooking. Cooking. I love cooking. It just what I don't love is cleaning up after cooking.
Yeah, see, that's the part that I do for him.
Is the
He
cleanup part.
cooks, and usually I clean. So
Well, it's a way. It's a good arrangement. It works out really
yeah,
well, I think.
yep,
Is your mom and your sister, are they still around?
yep. So my mom lives about 15 minutes away in the house that I grew up in. And my sister lives about 25 minutes away in a different town.
Different town
But
area.
I see them all the time, you know.
Oh, that's cool. That works. Do you do physical therapy or exercise every day?
I don't do physical therapy, but I do exercise every single day.
Every day. So if
Yeah.
somebody's going through this or what you're going through at this moment, it is. I mean, the protocol from what and this is just a perception that we have from watching, well, like speeches. Like I told you earlier, the television show Speechless gave us a nice introduction to
Hmm.
somebody with cerebral palsy, and that individual that was in that show. I should know his name at the moment. I should have looked it up before we had this conversation. But he actually had cerebral palsy, so it wasn't an actor playing it. He was an actor
Hmm.
with cerebral palsy, which I think was a benefit for people to have a
Hmm.
better understanding of that disease. I with my disease, with my severe, I've got rheumatoid arthritis, the type of rheumatoid that it just goes through every part of my body. It's not just in one area, my hand. It's
Hmm.
bilateral. It affects both my hands, both my wrists, all my fingers, my both knees, both everything.
Yeah.
It's a it it is. I had to learn quite a bit about this disease to have a better understanding of what it does to me and how best to manage that disease.
Hmm.
If somebody is going through cerebral palsy, or if they have a person, a loved one that's going through or has cerebral palsy, and or has another MS, or any number of other physical type maladies, what would you recommend that your number one, number, maybe say top three, let's say top three things that you would recommend to those individuals in regard to this journey? Because you've lived it over and over again. I don't know how old you are. You probably, I mean, you look about 20, 21 years old.
Yeah, I'm 32.
Oh, we're the same age.
So
Don't let
there
the
we
beard
go.
fool you.
Right. But yeah, three things that I would advise is number one, be aware of your mindset towards everything. Have a positive mindset. Believe that you can do things. Don't play victim. Don't do the poor me. Why did this happen to me? Why am I like this? It doesn't help. And I know it doesn't help because I did that my whole life. It does not help. You will be much happier if you can look at things and go, okay, this is how it is. How do I make good out of this situation? Whatever that situation is, just have a positive mindset. Number two is, find people that can support you. Have a support system, a network of people who either understand or are there to support you. There's a lot of resources out there, especially on like social media. There's a group for just about everything out there. Get yourself into one of those ad groups, and if you think it's right for you, find yourself a coach. I didn't know really what coaching was until a couple of years ago, and that first coach that I paid for, I would pay 10 times the amount that I paid because that's how valuable it was for me and my life at that time. And number three, exercise. Like I know we all hear it all the time, but trust me, your body wants to move no matter what the disability you have. So move as much as you can possibly move, and just keep moving. You don't have to do a lot. You don't have to strain yourself all the time, but just do enough to where it's uncomfortable, and just keep yourself moving every day. I know that once I started to do this, it like completely changed like my actual disability. Like my symptoms have been reduced. I'm in way less pain, which is amazing, and I can do a lot more than I used to. So it's just incredible. So yeah, that would be my three tip.
I think those are amazing tips. I mean, I know that you have a philosophy that we struggle with things, whether it be physically or mentally, in regard to that. And I think that a good mind, body, soul perspective, I think, is important. Which what you just professed. You really have to have the mindset that you're going to overcome something. You're going to achieve something. The feel sorry thing, I do. I understand that. I can relate to that. I went from being a sergeant that had a team of 13 guys that that they looked up to me as a leader, and I was arresting bad guys and living the life, driving a fast car, and, and I went from that to having my wife carry me to the toilet, kind of a situation. So I went through depression, I went through anger, I went through resentment, I went through a slew of every one of those things, multiple times, feeling sorry for myself and being angry at the situation and resentful for the situation. And although my journey didn't start at the age yours did, I think that in talking to you out there and anyone that's listening and watching, if you have any kind of struggles that are in regard to whether it be physical or mental or whatever has been brought to you, that the mindset and understanding that you do have the ability to overcome something and to adapt and overcome, that you have to first and foremost, I think, as you said, put that into your mind, your heart, your body, and understand that you do have the ability to kind of accept your circumstance, but adapt it to still, kind of function in life and make yourself happy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is cool. I, I do like
Exactly.
you do say never let your disability stop you from reaching your goals.
Mm-hmm.
And I commend you for making that statement and professing that statement in your coaching businesses and things like that that you're doing. You have an opportunity. I think that we all have the opportunity to make a choice in life in regard to whether or not we want to take a step forward or whether or not we want to accept where we're at in life and feel sorry for ourselves or as you said, to play the victim. In your experience, do you find that when we get to those points that it is difficult to try to overcome them? Do you have any tips or tricks on how to kind of shake off that I feel sorry for myself and I'm mad at the situation I'm in?
Yeah. So you know, I feel like those feelings, where you feel like a victim, pardon me. It's not something that just hits you one day and you're just like, oh, I don't like who I am. No, it's a gradual thing. But as soon as you can realize that you're being that way, I highly suggest you do something about it immediately. And this is really hard to do. A lot of us don't like to change, and a lot of us are very stubborn, and we're set in our ways, and we don't reach out for help. But I promise you, if you reach out for help, you will be so much happier with yourself, with your life, and then everybody around you is going to be happier with you because of that. So, the first step is just to realize that something isn't right, and you need to fix it. And a lot of things you can't do on your own. Um, so just find somebody that can support you, and this could even be a friend. Just talk to someone.
Yeah, I think communication is an important factor in regard to this.
Yeah.
Is you just have to speak up and not be
Hmm.
afraid to ask for help. It is difficult. I understand how difficult it is from my own personal journey. It's difficult to ask, but once you realize that those of those people around you are there to help you. They're waiting for you to ask.
Yep.
You know, they sometimes they feel uncomfortable saying, "Let me do this, let me do this, let me do this." So a lot of times they'll sit back and just wait for you to ask. So yeah, I think that you have presented a remarkable opportunity for people to understand that you know you're dedicated to not letting your disability affect you or your quality of life in any way, and that others can do the same thing, and you know take the steps to make sure and ensure that they've got self sufficiency, as you had said earlier, and that they can be happy within their lives and who they are. They are. I know that self esteem is a difficult thing to accomplish, especially within ourselves. In regard to that, did you know you in hearing your journey with your parents, I've got to tell you that you know that is an amazing set of parents that empowered you to do what you have accomplished and empowered you to move forward. I mean, you worked your way up to management within your family's company, correct?
Yep. Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
And then, of course, you were sold to another company with that because they felt your skills were uh, might be the right word. Sold.
I know, right? I like to put it that way because it's got a little humor in it, you know.
Yeah, they valued your skills and your skill set and everything. So
Yeah.
you know, it's something that I think that we all have the you know we all can do, and I think that you know you were given the parents that at the right place and the right time to be able to do that. I know that if I may, you lost your father to
Hmm.
cancer. Cancer's a
Yeah.
mean disease within itself. I lost my stepfather to cancer. He I had it three different times. The third time it got him, and you know, I've lost a couple of uncles and an aunt and some two best friends, and you know, it's just a nasty. My sister just went through her third cancer surgery, so it's a mean disease.
Hmm.
But you lost your father recently, didn't you?
Yeah. In 2019, he lost his fight after fighting for 5 years. He had brain cancer, which let me tell you, that one's a hard one to watch a loved one go through, just because, like, you know, most days while he was sick, I didn't have my dad. It wasn't my dad who I was talking to, because his brain wasn't right, so he didn't act like himself, he didn't talk like himself, no, nothing. So it's very difficult to be around. I even went as far as avoiding him, which it's hard to say that because like I avoided my dad who was sick with cancer, but I had to because I want to keep the good memories of us together, not that time, because towards the end, all we did was argue. There was nothing that I could say that he would agree with, or he would just start arguments. But it wasn't him. He was sick. But I will say the last like a month that he was with us, he was the nicest person around, nicer than normal, and I did spend a lot of time with him at the end. So I'm very thankful for that. But yeah, it was really really hard.
Makes it a difficult time, especially when you know you were still managing your situation, and in regard to managing that, then having to deal with that as well. I'm sure it created a kind of a difficult, we'll say a difficult walk, a difficult path to walk
Yeah.
from that perspective. So I'm sorry that you lost your father. but I'm happy that
Thank
he gave you the life that you are today. Because if that, he empowered, like I said earlier, I think from my perspective, this is from an outside perspective, it looked like he
you.
empowered you to be able to be the person you are today. Or he helped to
Yep.
empower you because your mother contributed as well. You have
Yep.
parents, wonderful parents that absolutely do that. And I'm sure that you empower through your coaching, it gives you an opportunity to empower those parents in the same situation. Or even if it's not just parents, if somebody's going through this or any
Yep.
challenge like this, because you empower people, not just somebody with a disease. Is that correct?
Exactly. I would work with people that just want help with mindset. I'm a certified business coach, so I can help you grow and scale your business. And the cool thing about that is, you know, I may not have all the answers,
Right.
but I got people that do, and I got resources that do. So that's the nice thing about that side of what I do is I don't need all the answers for that. I have people and resources that can
Very
help.
social to it. And that's an important thing. I mean, that's obvious. That's way
Yeah.
important. And realistically, having a diverse opportunity for somebody to come into you and talk to you with regard to many facets of life, including building self confidence. Because self confidence, it's like the thing is above your head. There, success is not the key
Mhm.
to confidence. Confidence is the key to success. And
Mhm.
an amazing. That's an amazing saying. I think that I want to steal that. Well, I'm not going to steal it. I'm going to borrow it
Mhm.
and put it on my computer.
Well, I might have stole it. I don't know. I put my name on
Borrowed it.
it. I borrowed it.
You're
Oh,
you're repurposing it.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to
But
repurpose
yeah,
it myself.
I mean, I do know that I can help a lot of people. One of my clients, she has autism. I don't have autism, but I can help her. You know, and then I have another client who I'm helping get over his alcohol addiction. You know,
Right.
I'm not I'm not an alcoholic. Um, I do know what it's like to be an alcoholic, as I was one, and I got through that, and I realized I had a problem. I wasn't
Right.
at his level, but I knew that it wasn't good, so I had to significantly slow down. But it just kind of shows like we all are able to help so many people. We
Yeah.
just don't know it.
Just don't know it yet.
You know.
Well, then I
Hmm.
guess in your regard, creating this environment for you, I'm sure that gives you a push of your own self-esteem and your own confidence as well when you're helping
Oh
others.
yeah.
Because I know it does it for me. When I help somebody else, it allows me to
Hmm.
feel good. And in spite of I'm in pain every day because of this
Hmm.
disease. A lot of times, sometimes a little more than other days, but I still have issues with getting out of bed because I don't want to get out of bed. It hurts,
Hmm.
kind
Yep.
of a thing. But when we have conversations like this, where I get to share journeys, remarkable journeys like yours, and hope help to motivate people and to educate people and let them understand that we do have a path forward. It makes me feel good from that perspective. I think that we're all in this world together, and reaching out to somebody else for help isn't a bad thing. It's always can be a good
Hmm.
thing, and you open
Hmm.
doors. You
Hmm.
open doors. Um, can we talk a little bit about your books? I know that you have written two
Yeah.
books, correct?
Yep. So the first one is you're getting in your own way. That one is very short. It's basically just an ebook, but it's got a whole bunch of tips and tricks on how to be more confident. And then there's short little stories about like what I went through that go along with each section. I wanted that one just to be really short, just so if you're having a hard time, you can just open it up, read a couple pages real quick, and then you'll know what you gotta do next. And then the next one is empowering motivational strategies. You know, I think that we all struggle to find motivation to do, a lot of things in life. And there's a lot of little tricks that you can do. When you know that you gotta do something, you just gotta know what you gotta do so then you have motivation to do something. Like for me, if I'm not feeling like I want to do anything, I like to do breathing exercises. There's a lot of different ones. You can look them up on YouTube. But this will actually bring a lot of energy to you, and then you'll be more motivated. Another thing that I like to do is I like to exercise. That just gets you energized and ready to go. But there's a lot of different things in that book. Have goals. That one's huge for motivation. If your goal isn't big enough, you're not going to be pulled to reach that goal. Your goal has to be big enough so that you get up every morning and you're excited to work towards that goal. So yeah, this is a really good, and that one's also short. I think you can read that one in like an hour or less.
And then you've got coaching, and I know you got some free stuff on your website as well. And if you could please let everybody know what your website and how to reach out to you if they're interested in having you on as a coach or how you can help them.
Yep. So you can go to my website. It's www.nickyerhart.com. NICKYERHART.com. And on there, you can find basically anything that you want about me. You'll find all my social media, and then you'll find other ways to get in contact with me. I know right now I'm running a quiz on there. You can find it. You can take that short little quiz. I will send you a personalized gift for you. Your gift will depend on your questions, so I'm not sure what you'll get, but feel free to go on there and take that quiz, and I'll send you a free gift. Also, if you want to get in contact with me directly, just find me on social media. I'm anywhere at Nick Yerhart or the Nick Yerhart. You know, you can find me anywhere, and just send me a DM. I check my DMs every day, and I'm always talking to people.
And I'll make sure all that's in the show notes so that people have a way of just clicking and finding you this way. And as you can see,
Thank you.
when you're watching this, you can see your Instagram handles up right there in front of you. So I'll make sure that everybody has a way of connecting with you. So anyway, Nick, this has been absolutely wonderful. This is one more thing before you go, before we go. Do you have any words of wisdom you can share?
Yeah, I would say, make sure that you're living your life to the fullest. We only get one life, so let's make it epic. And your abilities are infinite.
Make it epic. I love that. I think make it epic as everybody
Yeah,
should put that right in front of themselves to remember that.
exactly.
Make life epic. Life can change in an instant. Make it epic.
Hmm.
Very
Hmm.
cool. Nick, it's been a pleasure to meet you. A remarkable journey, as I said earlier. I think that you're an amazing individual. I am grateful that we were able to connect and we got that became a portion of your little life of your a little portion of your life during this conversation. I'm grateful for that, and thank you very much for being here.
Thank you too. It was awesome.
So everyone else out there, please thank you for being a friend of One More Thing Before You Go. Please like, subscribe, and share. And one more thing before you all go, have a great day, have a great week, and thank you for listening.
Thanks for listening to this episode of One More Thing Before You Go. Check out our website at beforeyougopodcast.com. You can find us as well as subscribe to the program and rate us on your favorite podcast listening platform.